I'm Matt Finch, and I joined Stark around about 7 weeks ago. I joined via a recommendation from my employer, so I'm a Vice President of Solution Consulting at Mavenlink. I was introduced by our CEO, Ray Granger, and he suggested that I join the Stark family, so here I am. And so a bit about my story. At Christmas time, I was around about 285 pounds, so that was about 9 months ago. I just decided it was time. I'm coming up to 40 next year. So I just figured it was time to get something done. You know, you see these pathways in life, and you get to this age and you think, you know, which pathway am I going to choose? Is it the pathway of change, or is it the pathway of staying in the habits that I developed over time? Yeah, so I'm a father of a 5-year-old. I've actually got one on the way as well this December, so expecting. And you just kind of look at your life and you think, you know, I'm coming up to 40 next year. I have a 5-year-old daughter and one on the way. You know, am I going to be around in 15, 20 years time to see them graduate college, or to help them start their lives and you know, as they become young adults and move on into their careers and obviously their whole school process in between. And even I was starting with my 5-year-old, she was starting to go to soccer camps and to baseball camps and things like that. And, you know, you see all the other parents joining in and helping out, or refereeing or volunteering. And, you know, you're the guy on the sidelines that runs out of breath when you just walk them there. Or, you know, you want to stay in the car because you're embarrassed because you're, you know, bigger than everybody else, or you're less fit. And I was struggling with that because my daughter wants to go out and play soccer, and I say, I'm sorry, I'm too tired, I'm just going to hang out on the sofa, let's watch a movie, right? When I should be out there, you know, and that's something that I felt so guilty because, again, I'm accountable to myself, I'm going to stay on the sofa. Accountable to my daughter, I've got to go out there and go and play soccer with her because it's the right thing to do as a father. But I didn't have the health or motivation to go and execute on that, and that's what was eventually very upsetting for me as a father, was not being able to be with her in the way that she wanted to be with me. You know, you just start to realize that I'm the heaviest I've ever been, I look the worst I've ever looked, I've been the least healthy, I go to the doctor with various complaints more than I ever have in my life. So that's what life was like before. It was a case of getting through the day, trying to get out of bed, trying to, you know, get through the day at work, trying to spend, you know, the time I could with my daughter before bedtime, before just collapsing on the sofa and running out of energy. And you know, it was an existence. It wasn't a life, it was existing. When you come into a place like this, it can be intimidating. You think, gosh, I haven't been to a gym for 15 years. I hope everyone's not going to laugh at the fat guy that's just walked in the room. And that was absolutely not the case. You know, everybody from day one, I just felt like I was at home. And every time I come here, everyone asks me how I am. How's the family? How's Annabelle? You know, how are you doing today? I only saw you yesterday, Matt, but I'm still going to ask you today how your day was. The really interesting part of the education that happens here, it's much less about, you know, the education of what's good and what's bad. It's about the education of putting it into practice, and the education of encouragement, and the education of accountability. And you know, the way that these systems are all connected together, and you know, we log food, and our trainer sees that, and our nutritionist sees that, and then we come together and do a review every few weeks and make sure that it's balanced and working for us. That's the exceptional thing for me, is that everything in the program and everything throughout the whole company is interconnected together. Everybody's talking to each other, everybody's sharing data, and the plan that you have isn't anything, you know, that's groundbreakingly new or magical, or this magic bullet that we didn't know about before, but it's putting together a framework of accountability and education to bring all of those things together. So overall, I'm down 65 pounds from my heaviest, and you know, which was a great achievement. And what Stark really did for me was help bring everything together. So my training program is tailored exactly to me. My nutrition program is tailored exactly to me. Because of all of the work we do with the doctors and the blood work and looking at the analysis and the genetic makeup of how I am, we can tailor my program exactly to what's going to suit me and achieve the goals that I want to achieve. The mental aspect, the mental clarity that I have, I'm sharper at work. I have more energy when I'm at work. I have more time for my family. I face challenges in a much more positive way, and rather than thinking of all of the negatives that could happen with a challenge, I go in there with the attitude of turning it positive. I feel incredible. I feel so much physically stronger. I get out of bed with a spring in my step rather than taking me 3 or 4 snoozes to get out of bed. I'm sharper at work. I have more mental agility. I'm able to cope with stress and challenges much more in my life. I spend much more time with my daughter, and this is what I mentioned before, trying to make excuses to get out of taking her to soccer practice or to play with her in the park or whatever it is. I do those things now. So I have a happier home life, I have a more productive work life. My wife and I are the happiest we've been because I now walk around with more confidence. I have a smile on my face. We have a better relationship overall. So, my recommendation would be have the confidence to make that call or drop that email and make that first connection, because from that first connection onwards, your life will change forever, and the Stark team will manage you all the way through that change.